Howdy, ladies and gentlemen. I start with howdy. I don't know why I started with howdy, but it's cold outside here in Florida. I just got in from Florida, flew in from Vegas. UFC 325 happened last night. This is Fight Court, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Dean Thomas. I got my man Ryan Quinn. Ryan, I'm sure you watched the fights last night. What'd you think about it?
I did. First off, we're matching. That's cool. But,
I like that.
Look at that. Yeah.
But you know, when you're in Florida and it's cold, you wear a hoodie.
Yeah, I think everyone has a black hoodie like in Florida. Like it's just it's true. But yeah, it's for those of you who don't know, the iguanas go into a hibernation state down here and freeze and fall out of the trees. It's kind of sad, but I guess people kind of laugh about it. But
I'm dying to find one fall out of a tree just stiff, and I'm just gonna carry it around like a popsicle stick.
yeah, it's kind of what it looks like. Some of those things are big. Like we have one of them on my street. It's like that without the tail. But anyway, yeah, I saw the fights. Uh, it was a good night of fights. The overall quality was there. There was several moments that were really significant, I felt, and they're going to be very fun to break down. But overall, it wasn't a huge animated night with a lot of action. I felt not a bad night though, just not a great one. What did you think?
Well, obviously coming off of 324 the week before, which was spectacular.
Yeah, true.
Hard to compete with that.
That's fair.
So,
That's fair.
hard to compete with that. So it's difficult to say because like if this was a standalone event, you say, oh, it's probably pretty good. But I thought it held its own. I haven't discussed it with my people at Paramount or what they thought about it just yet. So I have no inside, but I know I can tell you this. They loved the UFC 324.
Nice.
They loved that. But this one had its ups and downs. I thought that we saw some really good, talented guys, and then we saw some stuff that I could have did without. And you know, the like it's for instance like the Tai Tuivasa Tallison Teixeira fight. Like we could have did without that one.
Yeah, let's talk about that fight for like a minute or two. Like, so Tai is 0-6 in his last 6 fights.
Yeah.
Wow. So now what you see is what you get with Tai. I mean, I think that people kind of got lost in that because he's a big dude and he's flashy and stuff, but he's up there to hit a home run or he's striking out. Last night was actually the first time I think he went the distance or something like that, right? But that being said, I think we have to take a look at the heavyweight division is getting better.
Better?
Yeah, so not crazy better, but better. Tallison Teixeira is really good.
No, I thought he looked terrible.
I think he's better. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that it's. I listen. It's my least favorite division to watch in the UFC. That's hard to say because heavyweights are fun, but I just think that the level of competition is raising fighters. Like look at Waldo Acosta Cortez, like somebody like that. But I mean there's a large gap though. That being said, between Waldo and Tallison Teixeira. But I think that you're going to see someone like him get fights. Tai Tuivasa, but it's going to be about who could get the prop up. But it is sad though because the shoey. Like when was the last time we talked about a shoey?
I mean, it's been years, man. He took all of last year off to try to regroup because he had lost 5 in a row, so he took all of last year off. Prior to losing, he had lost a split decision to Biggie Boy.
Yeah.
Jairzinho Rosenstrike. And I think basically what happened with Tai Tuivasa is he's got the yips.
Yeah,
He's got the yips. He forgot how to win fights.
Explain what the yips are to people who don't know, because
so the yips are, and I almost feel awkward explaining that with you here because it's a baseball reference.
It is.
It's a baseball reference when like a catcher can't throw back to the pitcher.
Yes, that's a good example. Yeah.
And this happens in situations where just like a very simple, mundane activity, you just forget how to do it. And it happens to people in all walks of life, but it happens to fighters a lot. And for a guy like Tai Tuivasa, who was a really, like at one point he had won like 5 fights in a row. He had knocked out 5 opponents in a row, like in the UFC. So like he was a really promising guy. And then when he lost to Cyril Gane, and it's never been the same. He lost to Cyril Gane and Sergey Pavlovich and Pavlovich, and then a few others, and it's just never been the same for him. And I feel as though he took the year off and he came back and he just looked like he didn't know how to fight.
Yeah. Yeah, he just phew, it's really interesting like what happens with him, but I don't see them doing him any favors anytime
Nah,
soon.
you got to cut
Uh,
him.
you think he gets cut right away?
I
Yeah.
think you
It's
got to
not
cut.
right
Like,
away.
how do
It's
you
not
keep
right
a
away.
guy?
It's six fights.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm saying. You got to cut him. You got to
Hmm.
cut him and say, listen, man, go back to the regionals and get it back. Like
Yeah.
go back to the minors and get it back, right?
Yeah.
You got to
You're
cut
not
him
gonna
and let
figure it
him.
out
And like, if
here.
he wants to fight, you got to let him go back to the minors and get it back because, and it was a winnable fight for him. Like in that third round, all
Yeah.
he had to do was just connect with one punch.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
was so frustrating to watch because I actually picked him to win. I thought
So
he
did
would have
I.
gotten it back. I thought he would have gotten it back.
I think I picked him to win like four of his last six, to be honest
Yeah.
with you. And it's that's the other reason why it's so bad is because he's had winnable fights and he's not winning. But either way, yeah, I wanted to touch on that a little bit because it's an interesting phenomenon. I'm happy you brought up the yips. What else do you want to
Well,
touch
let's
touch on?
obviously let's get right into the main event.
Yeah,
Alexander Volkanovski proved that even at 37 years old, which is why I didn't think he'd be able to do it, but this guy is he's an outlier.
he looked
He's
great.
special, he's exceptional, and he made it easier than the
Hmm.
first fight. And he said he would, and I doubted it. And I thought that Diego would be more prepared, and he wasn't. He had no answers. And Alexander Volkanovski went out there and just really put on a performance.
Man, the way Alex does the little things that look so magnificent because of his timing and it's clearly the way he trains. I don't want to just say fight IQ. That's just such an easy thing to throw out there and just dismiss what he's actually doing. Like, but those
Yeah.
those those lead right hands, like at what point, like did you, but let's say before the fight started, did you say that, you know what? Alex is gonna land some lead right hands off center, like on some angle, like the way he landed it, the pace landed it at, he must have landed like five or six really clean lead right hands, like, and they weren't straight, they were like looping right hands. It was just like just timing on his entry. It was just, damn,
Well, that was exactly how Robert Whitaker, we worked the desk together, and he
uh-huh,
said he's going to catch him over the top. Not
yeah,
straight, but over the top. And the
hmm,
reason why is because, and Diego gave this away, man. I think he shouldn't have
hmm,
gave this away too much. And when I think about it now, it's like it all makes sense. Like he went to Oklahoma State to practice his wrestling.
hmm,
And he probably should have been practicing his offensive wrestling and not his defensive wrestling
yeah.
because you could tell that it had him gun shy. And he
His
wasn't
stance
aggressive.
looked,
He wasn't aggressive. He was waiting for the shot. And because he was waiting for the shot, that allowed Volkanovski to dart in and hit him with overhand rights.
yeah. Even his stance looked very wrestling defensive favored, Diego.
Yeah.
I felt that it was a little too much. And against somebody like Alex, he's going to recognize that and start opening up otherwise. So yeah, that goes into what you said about Diego. That goes into that video I sent you about that I did about identity first. It's like, don't overcompensate on what your opponent's going to do because then it's going to suffer. You're not going to train your strengths. And it looks like that's exactly what happened with Diego there.
I think it was, man, because Diego's best chances were like in brawls, like in those moments where there were
Hmm.
brawls where he could allow himself just some chaos to connect. Because if he was to connect, like he like the one time he did connect, it dropped
Dropped him.
in the
Yeah.
third round.
The slip.
Yeah, but he never connected after that or before that. He never had
Yeah.
like a clean connection, and he
Mhm.
didn't give himself a lot of chances to because he was following Volk around. He tried to go southpaw, that didn't work. Like nothing worked. And instead of just being like, you know what, let me just go and just fight really wild, especially in the fifth round, just go crazy, just go nuts.
Hmm.
Like, I don't think that he prepared for that. I think that he was so, whatever they did in camp, they were just like, oh, this is going to work. So that we're just gotta, and I get that, right? Because you want to trust your camp, you trust your training. But at the same time, I do it when I train my fighters, I do a thing called back casting. And that is you wake up on Sunday morning and envision that you lost. Like, how did you lose?
Hmm.
And then we start there, right? So if you lost because like you kept getting taken down, now we got to make sure that we prepare for that. So
Yeah.
like at some point he had to like at some point they didn't envision him losing like this because
Hmm.
if they did, they would have prepared for this type of scenario. And and that's unfortunate because I thought I picked Diego. I thought he really had a good shot, but I don't think he was fully prepared.
Yeah. Or inappropriately prepared, maybe is
Yeah.
the better word. Like he looked in shape, but
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, for sure.
Um, yeah, that's so strange. That it's not strange. He's not that old. He well, I mean, he keeps getting better. I just I agree with you. I wouldn't have been overcompensating too much on the takedown defense. It clearly changed him, and it almost looked like he was in a transition stage when he was in that fight, like figuring out what fighter he's going to turn into with the way his stance was. And he was so like I know that usually he's a forward fighter. He's aggressive with the body, but he looked so hunched over and heavy on that front leg. Like he was looking for takedowns. Now it totally makes sense
And
why
not
Volk
and
was.
not going forward.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, and it's weird to think about that because when you think about how Volk has like when Volk lost, like when he got beat by Ilya, like it's because Ilya was putting pressure on him
Yeah.
and forced him to go
Mhm.
backwards, and he was able to dictate how Volk moved. And this is something else that we talked about on the post show was that you know Volk did such a good job of dictating the action. It was if he it was if Diego agreed to just go, all right, I'm gonna let you dictate, and I'm just gonna follow what you do.
Yeah,
That's how
yeah,
it looks, right? It was almost like
it
a
did.
handshake agreement. Like
You lead
I'll
the
just follow.
dance
Yeah, you just lead the dance, and I'll follow what you do.
because there was even times where Volk was circling towards his power, and I'm like following, like wow, he's not even looking to clip him. Like it was crazy. One thing I saw online that was interesting, and I hate these stupid memes or memes, whatever they're called, but this one was pretty good. You ever see the memes? It says it's hard to explain that the person on the left can beat the person. All right, it showed Volk and Jack Della Maddalena, and it said it's hard to explain that the person on the left, Volk, gave Islam Makhachev a much harder fight than the person on the right.
Hmm.
And now, granted, yes, 170, 155, there's more to it than that, but this is the ultimate game of rock, paper, scissors, right? It's
Yeah,
so
that's an
crazy.
unfair comparison because
Yeah.
Volk is a Volk is a better martial artist
Yes.
than Jack,
Yeah.
and he's got a stronger tool set. He's got a variety of skills that Jack doesn't have.
Hmm.
So of course he gives you know, Islam a better fight. And I think he would continue to give Islam a better fight. Like even if
Yeah.
they fought again, like he got clipped with that kick the second time against Islam. But again, that's to me, that's kind of a one-off. I think that Volk could fight Islam tough every time and even win.
He took that fight on short notice, right? It was
Yeah,
real.
he took it on 10 days.
Yeah, it is totally a wash that
Yeah,
fight.
yeah. So we put a lot into that, but and they go, oh, he's too small. But I really think with Volk's skill set, he could give anybody fits and beat anybody on his
Yeah.
day. And it's just unfortunate is that he is still 37. So I I'm telling you, man, I have a hard time believing that he can recreate this type of success over and over at this age.
So it's almost unfortunate that I feel like his last three or four fights were like the age. It's like we're taking away from what he's given. Then he'll put out a masterpiece like he did last night. How many more fights do you think he has? If we're looking at two fights, we're probably looking at 18 months. So then he's 39 or whatever. Um,
I think he wants to get in there more. I think he also understands that age is a thing, and I think
yeah,
he knows he needs to get in there more. There was something that I heard about his coach saying is that they have like this test that they do for him in the gym, and as long as he meets the mark on this test in terms of I don't know if it's like a physical test that they want him to be able to do, but as long as he meets that criteria, that they're okay with him fighting. And he even said like when I can't do these things, then that I know I'm done. But apparently he's still able to do all the things that he was able to do before from a physical standpoint. So that's
good.
good on him.
Yeah, very good. Very good. Um, all right, yeah. So what do you think is next for him?
Well, rumor has it that Movsar and Lerone are going to fight,
Okay.
and for the sake of MMA, like Lerone isn't the most sellable guy, but at least he has a style
You
that
watch it.
that's a little more appealing to watch, right?
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
little more appealing to watch. So for the sake of Lerone, I'm hoping that he wins. And not only just that, it's just I don't like. Here's what I don't like about what Movsar did is that Movsar took last year completely off, hoping to get a call.
Hmm.
He ducked Aaron Pico twice, hoping that he would get the call. And I don't like the fact that Lerone Murphy fought 2 or 3 times last year. He had to fight Aaron Pico, and now he has to fight Movsar to prove his case. I think they should just give it to Lerone because I don't believe you should be rewarded for not fighting because you are in a position.
Yeah, especially because he ducked Aaron Pico twice and then Lerone fought him and knocked him out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought for sure. I thought that he staked his claim once that happened. I'm very surprised that they didn't give him the title shot.
I mean, timing of it worked out to where you kind of had it's unfortunate, but you kind of just because like Volk's gonna need a little bit of time anyway. So I think that's
Hmm.
the reason why. I think if the timing worked out that they would probably favor Lerone, but I think just because like the fact that Volk's gonna need a little time anyway, you have to make this fight. But for Lerone Murphy's sake, I hope he wins because he did have to fight Aaron Pico. He did fight twice last year, and he beat everybody. So I'm hoping that he can get past Movsar because I feel like he's the most deserving of a title shot.
Yeah, me too. Plus, I'm a huge fan of his, so I'm looking forward to that. Well, when it happens, let's see. It's January. That could be on the White House card.
They won't do that on the White House card.
You don't think so?
Um,
That's the timing
Lerone and or
and bulk. Yeah.
no,
Oh no,
they
no.
wouldn't.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No, I forget I said that. I'm
Yeah,
thinking. No, yeah. I'm thinking if he wins and he's not like the. I'm thinking Volk's timeline. That's what I'm thinking of.
I mean, if
It wouldn't
we're
do it. It
we're
wouldn't.
looking at like Madison Square Garden or
Yeah,
something,
yeah, 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 yeah. I
or
was thinking
or
of
an
Volk's time.
international show. I mean, that's an international type fight.
Right.
So,
Hmm.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they brought that back to Australia somewhere because Volk was just such a massive star in
Oh, that was
Australia.
crazy. That music, man.
You could feel that permeating in the air from TV.
Hmm. It's a
So
good
yeah,
song.
let me tell you about my night though.
Yeah. Tell
So
us about your night.
I was working the broadcast and literally I was in like a podcast room that they have. It's not even a studio. And so they set me up because they was like, "You want to do it at the desk?" And I was like, "Nah, it's so distracting, like all the people around and Chris and Rob will be watching the fights." I said, find me a little space to do it. I don't care. And they put me in like this little podcast room with like and it was like where they store junk.
Hmm.
So, it's just funny that like I'm still doing my job, still coming in, still chiming in, but my surroundings was like I had a green screen around me. I should be using one now, but I had a green screen around me. I had like equipment over here, and it was just, and then a monitor and a headset and a mic on, but still getting the job done, man. Still getting the job done.
You know what? First of all, I didn't even realize. Well, I mean, I knew you were in Vegas, but I was like, oh shit! Like they did a pretty good job of punching you in when you had to do your analysis. I realized this last night when I'm watching. It's not. It's kind of random to us when you are going to give an analysis when you're going to give a coaching. Do you know like you do like a co-main and a main event, but other than that, like when are they like, hey Dean, watch this round and we want to know what you're going to say?
No, they just, like I can chime in when I want, or if they feel like they want some different perspective. So it's pretty random actually.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
There's no real rhyme or reason. It's just really random. I mean, obviously they're not gonna want to bring me in too much, or I can't come in too much, or else they would just have me sitting next to them.
Yeah, right.
But then again, like they're paying me to do a job, so I still have to come in and offer a different perspective. And I try to do it from a perspective as a coach, or what I would be thinking as a coach.
Yeah, you do a good job with that for
Yeah.
sure.
And also too, yesterday was horrible because I had a reverb, meaning that I could hear what they were saying, and then 3 seconds later, they'd say it again. So it was just reverb
That
the
sucks.
whole time, and I couldn't listen to it. It was giving me a headache. So it was a challenge. But you know me, Quinn. I
Yeah.
embrace the challenge,
Yeah.
baby.
You show up.
Yeah, I show up. What other fights on the card piqued your interest?
Oh, I got one I want to talk about. Really, you talk about reverbs. I remember one time I did a radio show, and I hate when I put the headsets on. I hate hearing myself talk when I'm trying to talk to you. Like, I can't do it. So every
Yeah,
time, like, I'll never, if I could help never wearing a headset, I will. But Mauricio Ruffy versus Fiziev. Uh,
yeah,
so man, you know, Rafael Fiziev is when he's in position and you don't move him, you're not scoring. But when you get him out of position or extended, that's how Justin Gaethje made his money. It's how he took him down. That's how he connected, and that's how Rufi knocked him out last night. It's pretty crazy to see. Like, I mean, I don't want to say it's his Achilles heel because I get it. I'm short. I know I can't get extended either, but I was very surprised that he was able to get extended the way Mauricio was fighting. I felt he was backpedaling a little bit, and he wasn't really
hmm
throwing enough volume in order to bait Fiziev in. And Fiziev came forward pretty hard anyway, and that's how he got caught. What did you think about that fight?
yeah. I actually picked Fiziev. We all thought Fiziev would get to him. Just after
I
watching
did.
Hoofy, after
Mhm.
watching Hoofy,
Yeah.
the way he got tossed around by BSD, Benoit Saint Denis in Paris.
Hmm.
And man, that really left a bad taste in my mouth about him. As if, and it just. Do you remember when Hoofy fought James Yontop in Madison Square Garden?
Yes.
James Yontop, they fought at 170 because he couldn't make the
Mm.
weight, so he fought up. And Hoofy, for as he looked stylish, but he showed some holes in terms of like his grit and determination to just like really put it on James Yontop. Like because James Yontop was tough enough to take his stuff, like he showed some holes. And then when he kind of got tossed when he got not kind of got tossed around, but when he got tossed around by Benoit Saint Denis, I was like, man, maybe he's not the guy who I think he is. Like he's really good, like he's super talented, probably most talented guy in the division, but mentally he's just not a gritty type guy. So I thought that the pressure from Fiziev would get to him. Fiziev never really was able to put that type of pressure on him. He had some good leg kicks that noticeably hurt Hoofy, but I don't think he realized that he was hurting Hoofy with them leg kicks. So he never really was able to get his offense going. And then Hoofy, just as talented as he is, landed a laser right hand and
Yeah.
shut him down.
That was loud too. It
Yeah,
was loud.
yeah, like he's super talented, but
Mm.
I still think that some better, grittier guys are going to get to him.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I didn't even when the fight was like I was really heavily favoring Fiziev and then it was like getting even. I'm like, I'm not really convinced that he's pulling away here and then crack. So, I mean, he's always going to be a danger, and like you said, maybe though, as this is a big win for him, maybe this will give him the confidence to like, because
Yeah, yeah,
when I think of things like that, I think of guys that are in a 50-50 position in a fight, how much grit do I have to show to win this position? And not win the fight. I'm talking about win this position. I don't even know what I'm talking about. Maybe this fight, this win, this knockout will give him the grit, the confidence to push through in that grit to win these 50-50 positions and it'll raise his stock a little bit. I'm not banking on that right now, but it's going to be very interesting to see his next fight and see how he reacts coming off this. Or is he going to get hung over from this? But he doesn't seem like that either. So, yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see what his next performance looks like.
yeah. I'd like to see him in like Manuel Torres or somebody like
Yeah.
there's some or Farazim. There's some good fights
Mm,
for him. So there's a lot of good fights in that lightweight division. Speaking of, we cannot not talk about this one.
mm,
Benoit Saint Denis and Dan Hooker.
yeah.
Man, after that 2 minutes in the beginning of Dan Hooker, man, then I realized what Dan Hooker is. He's not him no more.
No. I felt like he hasn't been him since he lost to Poirier. I feel like he's tough. He comes in, but he just he just gets lit up in these like he gives a window to his opponent, whether it's to be cracked or taken down, and like it's just the window's there. The kitchen's open. I can't explain it. He's a tough guy, but like He just I don't get it.
Well, you know what it is, and I said this. Um, I said it on a post somewhere. Just there becomes a certain point when fighters feel like they learned enough.
Mm,
They feel
yeah,
like they learned enough. And it's oftentimes reinforced by like their strength and conditioning guys, and they're just like,
yeah.
man, you already know how to punch and kick, you already know how to fight, just get in shape, never get tired. And I feel like not only did Dan Hooker do like stop learning a long time ago, but then it's just been reinforced not by just like getting in shape, but just like how can I have the most fun doing this without putting in the necessary accountability type work that I need to do, like the work that I need to do in order to win fights, not just make them messy. And I feel as though he lost his learning edge a long time ago, and then he lost his ability to be accountable for and responsible for trying to win fights.
I think you nailed it. He's working out. He's not training. There's a big
Yeah.
difference. Just let me go get this sweat in. Let me make weight. All right, we're
Let me
cool.
make weight and
Yeah,
not even and I don't even know if he's even but the way he looked last night was not even the type of guy who was um it just
man.
like he just wanted to just have some fun.
In the end of that first round, Benoit Saint Denis was going for that arm triangle, and I'm like, it wasn't even like a forceful arm triangle. Like it was just the technique looked. I don't want to say sloppy, but it wasn't on point. And like you said, Daniel Hooker was just immediately going for that grip behind the leg. It's like, dude, that's last ditch effort. There's a little bit more
Yeah.
to do there to try to.
Yeah.
So I was like, dude, he's just there. He wants to be there and finish this round right now. Like that's exactly what you said.
Well, and it always comes off as people think I'm being mean or talking trash about him.
No,
And I'm not. I'm just pointing out the obvious. And the obvious is in the grand scheme of things in a fighter's lifeline of their career is that they have a peak of about 5 years. It's like before that 5 year mark hits, you're working your way up, getting good. Then you hit that peak, and then you hit that peak of 5 years, and then after that, it just goes down. It just goes down. The hard part about that is nobody really knows where that 5 years is
hmm
or where you're in it.
Yeah.
And when you're out of it, you only know when you're out of it.
Oh yeah.
And when you're out of it, like you don't realize it and you think you can still come back. And I think that's where Dan Hooker is now. He's out of that 5 year window. He doesn't necessarily realize it yet. But I think after last night, I think he's gonna realize, man, I'm just not him no more.
And last night was also a winnable fight for him. Or on paper, I felt it was like, but
I
after
picked
watching
him.
it,
I picked him.
after watching, I'm like, geez, like this, oof, no good, no good.
Yeah,
Um,
no good. It was like he just couldn't he did so good against the wrestling from Gamrot.
yeah.
Couldn't do that at all last night. In fact, like he kept selling out on that guillotine. I'm like, dude, use that to fight the hands off, then get back up. Like if you don't want to go down. But why are you like totally committing to this guillotine?
And I wouldn't be surprised if we like how we said how one fight goes into the next with the mindset. Gamrot's wrestling is a little different than Benoit Saint Denis. So I'm sure he's just like I don't know who his wrestling coach is, but he's probably just doing the same type of defense and all that stuff, and it's not translating. Um, but that goes into like you're saying, he's done learning.
Yeah, he's
So
done learning.
man, so yeah, I mean, I think he's well for the most part, he's an exciting fighter. I think he's got a couple more exciting fights, but he's got to change something up. Whether maybe he really needs does he has he changed gyms lately? Maybe that not that he has a bad relationship with his coach, but he needs to force himself to where he has to learn a new system so he's learning something new.
Man, I think it's just like I said, it's over.
Yeah.
I mean,
Mm.
we tend to have this desire to feel as though fighters are entitled to a second chance or entitled to a longer career. But the reality of everybody's career is it comes and goes really fast, and you're not
hmm
in control of that. Like you can try to control that as much as you can. And I think and sometimes I feel like maybe I'm a bit cynical towards it, but I just seen and been around thousands and thousands of fighters.
And you've been through it. You've gone through that
Yeah, yeah,
transition.
I've been through it, but I've been around thousands and thousands of fighters, and I just know that everyone's career comes to an end.
I know that when I started training towards the end, I mean, I got out kind of early, but I noticed like things that my body used to react to. I was able to do it, but I had to think about it. Like I
Hmm.
had to, oh yeah, as opposed to just like I used to be able to close my eyes and fight. I mean, not striking, but like now it's like I got to think about it. I'm like, oh man, I got to think about it. And now that stuff that I used to be able to do reaction, now I got to think about it for 3 seconds before I do it, which is an eternity in a fight.
Yeah, I
So
mean, but think about that though. Like so, but no one told you that.
that was gonna happen.
Well, and no one told you that you're now done because like you
Yeah.
can't be fight at a high level like that.
Hmm.
But in your head, you're still thinking, you know, I got wins still left in me. You still
Yeah.
think that in your head, and no one told you that it was over.
Hmm.
And that's the problem. And no one's just supposed to tell you that because then that's really being like negative. Like everybody's still rooting for you
Yeah.
to to win fights, and you still got it, champ. But
Hmm.
more often than not, you don't. And I've seen this. And this is like I said, this is why I speak on this because it's very apparent sometimes, like when it's apparent, like when Tyron Woodley couldn't bounce back, it's very apparent. Gilbert Burns, very like these high profile situations is very apparent, but it's the same at every level. Like even fighters that aren't that good, they also have a peak of where they win a couple good fights and think they're going to make it, and then all of a sudden, that's it for them. And I've seen it at every level. That's why I know it exists. It's just more apparent at the highest level where, we pay attention to it.
Yeah. And well, it's a lot easier to see at the highest level too because they're gonna get exposed real quick. Like you said,
Yeah,
the age on the
you
stool.
get exposed real quick
Yeah.
in front of everybody.
Hmm. And it's interesting too, like it doesn't happen a lot, but you'll see it like even with an older fighter, like they'll find, and even though they know that there's no quick fix to anything, they might have some short success with like, oh, he developed a high kick. And then all of a sudden they think that's their bread and butter because that's their freshness. But then it's really not developed. And then they've left behind, like we said before, the other stuff with the fundamentals.
Yeah.
That's also because then by the time they catch up, then they're really too old.
Yeah, but
It's,
that's the thing though. Like you said, like they might have developed a high kick, but
yeah,
it's not a major league high kick. It's
yeah.
a minor league high kick. But in the process of developing a minor league high kick, you you decreased your skills in other areas as well.
Hmm. Yeah, for
So
sure.
now you spent all this time developing a minor level high kick, and now you can't shoot a good takedown because
You're looking for
you
that
ain't been
high
working
kick.
on that. Yeah. The 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 dichotomy of MMA, man, it's not an easy sport to really put a finger on. It's very
No, it's
difficult
not.
to really understand. I don't understand it half the time.
Well, it changes too. It's not
Yeah.
the this sport. I mean, well, this sport's what 2006. So this sport's what is this sport? 33 years old, and it's like so it's still fairly young, and it's had let's see, two or three different phases of evolution so far, and it's things change, and now we're actually starting to see fighters age. Even 15 years ago, we didn't really know what fighters aged like because it went from an all-out brawl, and then 2000, what was it, 2003, they regulated, and now those guys weren't really old. Now we're seeing like I remember when people said, "What's the age?" What when I was started fighting, people would ask me, "What's the age?" Limit usually on this. I'm like, I don't know. Like, it's honestly too soon. I know Randy Couture is 45 and he holds the heavyweight belt. So, but he's obviously an outlier. But the sport changed since then.
Well,
So,
that's an interesting theory that you're bringing up here because you're right because now we're starting to see age play a factor, but prior to age being a factor, I think the evolution of the sport itself was the reason why guys couldn't keep up. But now sometimes it's the fact that they're aging out and
yeah.
not just the evolution of the sport keeping them out.
Yeah, now we know what the wrong side of 30 is in MMA. And we've
Yeah.
only learned that in the last 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
Um, because yeah, the evolution of the sport was, you had to get well-rounded. Uh, Matt Hughes and Chuck Liddell, perfect examples. They were the first two guys of their generation to excel at one thing and be have a backup like Chuck Liddell was the sprawl and ball roll, And then Matt Hughes had great offensive wrestling and grappling. And then people found out how to box with Matt Hughes, and then he wasn't the same. People found out how to box with Chuck Liddell, and they realized that Chuck had power, but he couldn't box.
Yeah.
And then the game planning came in, and then they fell off. And
Yeah, you're right.
that's when the evolution started, and that's when game planning started.
You're right. You're right.
Hmm.
Well, MMA, you gotta love
Yeah,
it. Thanks to
absolutely,
Paramount for putting it in front of the masses, though.
definitely. And it's on at
Yeah.
9 o'clock. It's so good on the East
Yeah.
Coast. I love it.
All right. Well, next week we got I think it's Mario Bautista, Vinicius Oliveira. I like Mario Bautista a lot. Vinicius is such a demon though. This guy, like he just walks through and eats shots. So it'll be a very interesting fight to see how Mario Bautista handles that. Any quick thoughts on that before we wrap?
I haven't looked enough into it. I like Mario Bautista a lot, like you said, but I haven't looked enough into it to really give my analysis. So I'm gonna have to let it go.
All right. Well, that'll be interesting to watch. Make sure y'all tune in. That's Mario Bautista taking on. His nickname is Lope Dog. He raps too. He's quite the character, but he's a fun guy to watch. And I think if he can beat Mario Bautista, he will be a guy to look out for because, like I said, he seems bulletproof at times when he's walking forward. So, all right, Ryan, my man, as always.
Thanks for stepping up. You guys just got
catching
in.
up with you.
Great.
We'll do it again next week. If you enjoyed the show, make sure you hit like, share, and subscribe. And on that note, this court is adjourned.